Yeah, you know where to be. For real talk, come see. Hot topics, recaps, reactions for you. Genuine laughs and unbiased views. We keeping it real, critical and true. So welcome to Roma Lash TV. You're welcome, come chill with me.
Hello everybody, hello. Welcome back to my channel. It's Roma Lash TV and Roma Lash is me. And y'all already know what we're here to talk about. We're here to discuss, in case you haven't seen it on the screen already, Joseline's Cabaret, California. So this is gonna be the recap for the finale, the last episode before the reunion. So let's just get into it. So the episode starts off with, of course, Chinks getting bullied once again by Alopecia and Kevin Hart. And I'm like so over it. I'm so over it now, honestly. Like, I really don't like to see, I don't like when, I know I know everybody has to have a storyline. I know it's entertainment and stuff like that, and a lot of times, like, it's really just for storyline purposes, these beefs, right? But when it's one person, when it's like a gang of people just ganging up on one person throughout the whole season, it's like, it's overbearing. It's overbearing to watch as a viewer. So I don't know how y'all feel about that, but I'm over it, man. I'm over it. Like, y'all need like a new storyline. I mean, everybody had their chance. Everybody had their turn to get bullied, right? We saw first it was Sky, then it was Kanaya, but it just feels like Chinks just throughout the whole season, you know, she was just getting bullied, and it's enough is enough, you know. And maybe, you know, there were some other girls that left earlier in the season. Maybe if they stayed, like we had G Baby and we had Jane Doe. Maybe if they had stayed, maybe it would have been them and not Chinks, or who knows? Maybe it would have been all three of them. Who knows? But it's just, I'm so over this storyline of like everybody in the house, all the cabaret sisters, so-called sisters, just bullying Egypt. Like, I'm so over it, you know. So like, next new storyline, please, y'all. Like, so anywho, they were playing bubble soccer, and the whole reason they started bullying Egypt in the first place, not Egypt, Chinks, in the first place was because what's her name? The white girl. Oh my gosh, Oceans, being the informant that she is, the little snitch, the snitch ass bitch that she is, want to go and just out of nowhere, like nobody at all, and then Oceans comes and lets Egypt and Kevin Hart, I can never remember her name, Miss Durag over here, Purple Durag, Kevin Hart, she lets them know that she recorded a conversation with Chinks, talking with her and the other girls on the sprinter, and she made a comment about Egypt's alopecia. She didn't mention Egypt's name, but she you know, she indirectly insulted her. She said, you know, I think Danny took her wig off, and Chinks was like, oh, it's all good, I got hair, I don't got alopecia. So I just feel like this was too much, because yes, I mean, Egypt is the only one there with alopecia. Although Kevin Hart's sister probably got alopecia because her hair is low and her hair is thin. She got the Jayla haircut, but if y'all notice, her hair is, you could see her scalp. Okay, Jayla, Akbar, they be wearing their hair low, but you can still see hair. You're not seeing Jayla's scalp when she wears her short do. You're not seeing Akbar's scalp when she's rocking her short do. But this one here, Kevin Hart's sister, you can see her scalp through her waves. Okay, so she probably dealing with alopecia for all we know. That's probably why, because honestly, if she felt more bothered by the comment than Egypt, then again, Egypt's probably used to hearing that shit by now. She's probably used to, I mean, even Jocelyn earlier on in the season joked about her having alopecia. Even she made a comment about it. So, anywho, that was the whole thing. And I don't trust people who record conversations. I just don't, especially like for no, I mean, what was the point of that? Why did you have to record this girl talking? Why did you have to record the conversation? I don't know. I don't trust people that just record conversations for no reason. Like, I don't know if you're trying to be like it's giving teacher's pet. It's giving, I wanna be in the crew so bad. I wanna fit in so bad. I wanna kiss ass. I wanna, like it's just giving like teacher's pet type of vibes. That's what it's giving me. It's giving, kiss ass. Kiss ass. I wanna pick me type type of energy. I think that's the best way for me to describe it. And that's what I get this season with Oceans. Last season, I liked Oceans. Okay. But this season, I don't like her. She was such a pick me throughout this whole season. She was such a pick me. It was disgusting. So anywho, there's that. So yeah, like Chinks was just there defending herself, everybody ganging up on her. And from what we're told from her, it was actually Neek who brought up the topic of Egypt. And then, Chinks just said whatever. She just added her 2 cents, said what she had to say. But I mean, of course, Neek was playing dumb. And, what did I say? What did I say? Chinks, you should have said what Neek said, because by you not saying what Neek said, you kind of look like a liar. Okay, you look like a liar. So if Neek brought up the topic of Egypt, you should have said verbatim what she said. You should have repeated what she said, because now you kind of look like you lying. Like you copping a plea or something by you not telling the other girls what Neek said. So anywho, it's just like whatever. She talked about you having alopecia. Who cares? And she didn't even say your name. Who cares? Like, I'm sure it's not the first time. And furthermore, you've been bullying Chinks all season. You can't even be surprised that she's talking about your alopecia. You've been bullying the bitch all season. I would talk about your alopecia too. I'd call you Patchy too, if you were bullying me all season. Okay? Like, you fighting this girl like every 2 minutes for what? For what? For a storyline, really. What was Egypt's storyline throughout the whole season? You started off being Kevin Hart's sidekick. You were like the Scotty to Kevin Hart's sisters, Natalie. You were like their little sidekick. And then when you saw Chinks and Kevin Hart's sister, their beef wouldn't stop, and it was just ongoing. That's when you decided to make it your beef and start bullying Chinks. And it's corny. It's really, really corny. Anywho, I never really cared for Egypt. Like even the last season that she was on, she was somewhat of a bully, and I didn't like it. So I never really cared for her anyway. So it is what it is. So moving on, they're just going back and forth. Like I said, Kevin Hart was doing too much. He was doing way too much. Way too much. And for someone that can't really fight, keep in mind, this is the same person, and I'm going to keep reminding y'all, this is the same person who got beat up by Wet Wet of all people. Okay? So you got a lot of mouth for someone who got, and to be honest, we haven't really seen her ever win a fight. We saw you got beat up by Wet Wet. Okay, you never won any of your fights with Chinks, except the time that Egypt jumped in, and even your fight with Miss Natural. Miss Natural whooped your ass. Miss Natural whooped your ass, boo boo. So and you were really sore about that. You couldn't beat Miss Natural, and Miss Natural smaller than you. So you got a lot of mouth. You talking a lot of shit for someone who can't really fight. Anywho, so they decide to they're talking their shit, whatever. Egypt is like, I'ma spare you because I know I could whoop your ass. And Chinks is just like, you can't spare me because I ain't even trying to fight. I ain't even come here to fight. So ain't nobody sparing me. Kevin Hart is making her little threats. Next time you talk about my sister's condition, I'm gonna be the one to break your nose. And I'm just like, girl, you ain't even gonna bust a grape, okay? So it is what it is. Oh, by the way, I really like this confessional look by Egypt, mainly from the neck up. This shirt, whatever, plastic, I don't know what to call it. It's, I guess, cute and creative, but meh. I really like the hair. I like her hair more so. So anywho, Ricardo comes and he kind of stops the whole going back and forth, the whole verbal altercation between Chinks and the other girls. I'm so happy he did that because like I said, I'm over that storyline. So I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is boring, like I'm tired of seeing the girls bully Egypt, whether they're fighting her, jumping her, just arguing. I'm over that storyline. So I was like, yes, saved by Ricardo. So he comes and he takes I was gonna say Egypt. He takes Chinks outside to, I guess, her sprinter. She's leaving. And, he was just asking her what was going on. And she was just explaining to him, like, these girls, they just want to bully me. They just want to jump me and whatever. The whole house is against me for what? I don't know. But, like, I'm over it. I'm gonna leave. So that's basically what she's saying here. And, Ricardo was like, yeah, we didn't bring y'all for this. Y'all was just supposed to play bubble soccer and have fun, and that's all it was supposed to be. So anyway, that's pretty much it for that scene. Next we see the girls. They're in the sprinter and they're on their way to oh, how could I forget? After Ricardo took Chinks to her sprinter to leave, he comes back into the studio where they were playing bubble soccer, where they were having, playing their little activity. And he lets the girls know that Joseline is going to be selecting a few girls to come to the studio to record a song. And the few girls that she chose were Kanaya, Sky, Andraya, and Erica. And everybody was pretty much happy for the most part. The only thing was we have Lexi Gold who's there, and Lexi Gold is an artist. She is a rapper, and she was not chosen to come to the studio. And it was a little weird seeing how Andraya got chosen to come to the studio, and Andraya does not do music. So some people found that a little bit weird, especially Lexi Gold. But we all know why Joseline didn't choose Lexi Gold to come to the studio. If you watched the last episode, you would know why. She said it to Ballistic. She said it to Melissa. She does not really want to work with Lexi because Lexi has a manager, and Joseline feels like if Lexi has her manager and she works with her, she's not really going to be able to make no money off of Lexi Gold. So that's why she wasn't chosen to come to the studio. So moving on, the girls that were asked to come to the studio, they're on their way to meet with Jocelyn, Ballistic, and whoever else is there to record their song. So they go, and when they get to the studio, yeah, when they get to the studio, Ballistic is there waiting for them. Jocelyn is there waiting for them, and this other, I guess, producer. I think her name is Jossie or some name that start with a J. Child. It's similar to Jocelyn's name, but yeah, she's there, and I believe she's also a producer, and she's there to um not really, I think she's a songwriter. I can't remember if they said songwriter or producer, but she's there really to not really to work with the girls, but just to, you know, scope them out and see what they're working with, what they have. So she's just really there to observe. Of course, Ballistic is the beat maker, so he's going to be making the beats for the song, whatever song they're going to be recording. So while they're in the studio, Jocelyn is just talking to the girls, and she wants to find out who has a manager, if they have a manager, and what the girls are looking for if they sign to Jocelyn's label, and if they come on, if they sign to Jocelyn's tour. So she's just trying to feel them out, see what their plans are, what their goals are, what they plan on doing, in like basically what their future plans are, you know, and what they're looking to get out of signing to the cabaret tour, if you know, if all goes well. So she talks to all the girls. Of course, none of them have a manager. That's why they're all there. And I honestly found it really hard to believe that Kanaya, who is a rapper, she's been on, you know, she's released songs, she's been on like on the radar, she's been on BET actually. And it was very hard for me to believe that Kanaya did not have a manager. So I thought, it was really hard for me to believe, but I thought, you know, if she really does have a manager, Jocelyn will find out one way or another. If she's working with her, she'll find out one way or another. So it really doesn't matter if she lied about it or not. But I personally did not believe that Kanaya did not have a manager. The other girls, I didn't even know they did music, but I knew Kanaya did music, and I just thought, you do music and you don't have a manager? You've been on BET, you've been here, there. I don't know. I call cap on that. But anywho, she says she don't have a manager, so we'll just take her word for it. So, you know, she's just asking the girls what they want to do. Kanaya said, you know, she's really just looking to get a push. I think Sky said that, you know, she want to be on the tour because, you know, Jocelyn is fun. She's lit. She knows she'll have a good time with her. I can't remember what Erica said. I think she said something about she wants to do something amazing with her life, whatever. I don't really pay attention to when Erica talks. She's one of my least favorite girls on the cabaret. So yeah, she's a follower to me. So yeah, I don't really care for Erica either way. She's a follower. I don't care for followers. So anywho, so when Jocelyn gets to Andraya now, Andraya lets her know that she actually she's planning on going back to school for, I think she said cinematography or something like that. So she lets Jocelyn know she's planning on she has the opportunity to go back to school and she's thinking about it. Jocelyn asked her how much money she would make from that. And, you know, Andraya said, you know, she could make up to 150K, depending on, you know, what level she's working at and stuff like that. And Jocelyn basically called her a stupid bitch, a dumb bitch, you know, because, you know, first of all, she said she would make that same amount of money at the cabaret, which I think is cap also, especially with a lot of these cabaret girls, you see, when when they finish filming the Jocelyn's Cabaret show on Zeus and they start going on tour, a lot of these girls don't last. A lot of these girls drop out. A lot of times Jocelyn has to call girls from previous seasons to fill in for the girls because the girls just don't be making money like that. They don't be getting paid like that. And a lot of girls have came out, they've done interviews stating that. We have girls like Hennessy, um, people like oh my god, what's the one who looks like Jayla? The one who has the same birthday as Jocelyn. The one with the dreads. Anyway, her, the one with the dreads who has the same birthday as Jocelyn, she said it also. Who else said it? Miss Natural said it. They don't make that much money with Jocelyn on tour. They make money on the show, but not on tour. And I think it's because Jocelyn be stingy with the girls. She doesn't pay them that much. So I highly doubt that Andraya is making 150K going on the cabaret tour. I don't see that. I don't see that. But anywho, yeah, so she was basically calling Andraya a dumb bitch. Also because Andraya fought, if y'all remember, in the last episode, Andraya fought Lexi Gold because Jocelyn allegedly told Lexi Gold that she would be running the cabaret. I believe she said this in front of the girls, or she said it in front of Andraya, but she told Lexi Gold that she would be running the cabaret. And, you know, Andraya was triggered about that because she's been hearing for the past 2 years by Jocelyn that she would be the one running the cabaret. So to hear Jocelyn say that to Lexi Gold, it struck a nerve. It really struck a nerve. So I feel like if you know you're planning to go back to school, okay, because it seems like something she's been thinking about for a while. If you know this is what you're planning to do, and, you know, we've heard Andraya, we've seen her on the show already cry about, you know, I have to take money out of my pocket and you know, fund myself when I come here and stuff like that, and I'm struggling and this and that. And, you know, if you know all of this is if you're dealing with all of this while you're on the cabaret, the last thing you should be doing is fighting a girl who's in the running or could potentially take over the cabaret. You should be happy. You should be like, all right, bet. This is gonna be her thing. I could focus on shit. No, you want to fight Lexi Gold because Jocelyn told her she might be the one to take over the cabaret when she goes to have her baby, knowing that you have plans to go back to school. I think that was really stupid. And I absolutely agree with Jocelyn. You are a dumb bitch for that. You're a dumb bitch. What was the point of you fighting Lexi if you know you wanted to go back to school? That made no sense. That made no sense. And if you really did feel a way about you not having that position of running the cabaret, if you really felt a way about Lexi Gold possibly running the cabaret instead of you, that was a conversation you needed to have with Jocelyn. Like, hey, Joss, you know, for the past 2 years, you've been telling me that, you know, I would be the one to take over the cabaret when you go to have your baby. And, you know, now, you know, you're saying Lexi Gold and blah, blah, blah. So that was a conversation you needed to have one-on-one with Jocelyn and not just take it out on Lexi Gold. You were stupid for doing that. But I get it, you know, she wanted her camera time. She wanted to use Lexi for a storyline, I guess, for an episode. She wanted a reason. She just wanted more camera time. That's probably all it was. That's honestly what I think it was. So anyway, like I said, Jocelyn, she did not like the sound of this, and she basically said, "Look, your time at the cabaret is done. Go back to school, do your school shit, and that's that. You won't be in my cabaret any longer. That's it. See your way out." So yeah, Jocelyn dismissed her and was basically like, you're not serious about the cabaret. You need to just see yourself out. And that's exactly what happened. Andrea had to see herself out. So anyway, back to the studio, what they were doing. So they get in the studio, and the girls each have to write a verse. Okay, they meet everybody in the studio. The girls each have to, they're given pen, paper, and they gotta write a verse for the song that they came to record. So they write their verses, and then they all go in the booth and they start rapping their verse. So Kanaya was first, and then it was Erica, and then Sky. Who had the best verse? Was hard to say. It was really, really hard to say. Really hard to say. They each, they all had their unique flow and stuff. Sky really brought the energy. I like Erica's flow. It was cool and sultry. Kind of remind me a little bit of Stunner Girl. And Kanaya, I liked her flow too. She kind of gave me drill vibes when she did her verse. So anyway, they were all pretty good. They all killed it. Just discussing, music and whatnot. Nothing special after that. So then we move to the next scene, and we see Egypt, and I believe it was Sky, Dez, and the Dirty Q-Tip, aka Kevin Hart. And they're all pretty much discussing, they were talking, Sky was discussing what happened in the studio the day before, how Andrea got kicked out because she mentioned she wanted to go back to school and blah, blah, blah. And they were also talking about who they thought was going to get the 50K. And of course, everybody wants the 50K to themselves, and if not, they hope their friends get it. Me personally, it was really hard because a lot of girls, they did their big one this season. A lot of girls did their big one. I would like to see Kanaya get the 50K. If not Kanaya, then who could I say? I would say Chinks, because I really like Chinks. But realistically, Jocelyn would not give it to Chinks. Jocelyn doesn't like Chinks, first of all, and she does miss a lot of rehearsal. Well, not a lot, but some. And a lot of times she is absent. But it would have been nice to see her get the 50K. Although I highly doubt Jocelyn would give it to her. She don't like her. Okay? Another person I thought maybe could get the 50K was, obviously Danny, Andraya, but after she said what she said the night before, we know she ain't getting it. But I would say Danny, Kanaya, even Lexi Gold. Lexi Gold, I would have liked to see her get it. Yeah, I would say those three: Lexi Gold, Kanaya, and Danny. So it would be nice to see them get the 50K. So in the next scene, we see Erica and we see Kanaya. And, they're just talking about the studio session the night before. They're talking about who's going to get the 50K and whatever. And basically how, they've come a long way from fighting each other to now being able to sit down and talk and whatnot and be cordial, which I thought, yeah. I almost forgot these two fought because it was just so long ago. So anyway, in the next scene, we see Lexi Gold, we see Neek, and we see Oceans and Andrea. So they're all talking, and I must say, like, I think this is probably the first time we've seen Andrea look. Oceans look good too, but this is probably the first time we've seen Andrea look really, really nice. Like a lot of times, Andrea be looking broke. Okay, a lot of times Andrea be looking broke. I don't know if she had a conversation, and I don't know if maybe Jocelyn asked her, why do you want to go back to school? And Andrea told her, because I don't have no money. I don't even have no money to be making myself look pretty. My I'm wearing these cheap eyelashes. They be falling off. They can't even stick to my eyelid properly because when they were at the studio session, Andrea, her crusty eyelashes, they were falling off. They were holding on for dear life. Half of that eyelash was off her eye, child. So I don't know where she getting these eyelashes from. I don't know what cheap dollar store eyelashes she be wearing, but a lot of times Andrea be looking, what Jocelyn like to say, thrifty. She be looking thrifty, and my thing is, this is your third season on the Cabaret. You and Danny need to be looking like top of girls. And this is the best we've ever seen Andrea look on TV. On the Cabaret. I mean, like, even this, she looks better here than in her confessionals. This is the best we've seen Andrea look. So I don't know if she cried to Jocelyn and said, I gotta go back to school because I'm broke. I ain't making no money. I be looking thrifty. And maybe they decided to say, okay, let's glam you up a little bit, at least for the last episode. I don't know. Child, I'm just talking shit. I don't know. I highly doubt that happened, but Andrea still looks really good. She looks the makeup, the hair, she looks great. Okay, like I said, best we've seen her look on TV. So anywho, we see Danny, she joins Erica and Kanaya to talk about, I guess, child, I don't even remember, but I think they're talking about the 50K. I'm not sure. But anywho, yeah, like they needed to bring Danny in this scene because I was forgetting that she was on the show, child. So anyway, in the next scene, we see Jocelyn and Ballistic. They're just talking about, this is the final night. This is the finale. I'm going to give one lucky girl the 50K, and also I want to give the girls who came to the studio an opportunity to sign with me, to sign to come on tour, to sign to the Cabaret tour. I was gonna say a label, but I don't think Jocelyn has a label. So yeah, it's just to sign to, well, I guess she has a label. She's coming out because what are they? They're just really signing to the tour. I don't know. So anywho, she's letting Ballistic know that. And yeah, he's like, it's a good idea and whatever. So that was pretty much it. I can't remember if she said anything else. But yeah, that was pretty much it. Today's the last night. Giving a girl 50K. Whatever, So then in the next scene, what do we see? Jocelyn always making jokes about getting pregnant and, conceiving and, come and let's practice for when we get, like, Jocelyn can't wait to have that baby child. She can't wait to conceive and let ballistics magic milk go inside her so she could make a baby child. That's all she keep talking about. She can't wait to get pregnant. So anywho, I'm still wondering who will run the cabaret, because that's a really good, or maybe she might just put it on hold until after she has her baby. So anywho, in this scene we see the girls are on their way to Jocelyn's strip club. It is the grand opening for her strip club, the Jocelyn's Cabaret strip club thingy. I don't know. Is it the Jocelyn's Cabaret strip club or the Jocelyn strip club? I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's the strip club, child. The strip club that Jocelyn is getting from Zeus. Yeah, she's opening that tonight. Is the grand opening, and the girls are on their way there. And this is also where Jocelyn is going to be announcing who is going to get the 50K, which one of the girls will get the 50K. So all the girls, they're talking, they're excited to go see the club for the first time. And they're also just saying, you know what, it doesn't matter who wins the 50K. I wish y'all the best. Everybody's basically trying to be good sports about, whoever Jocelyn decides to give the 50K to. So they arrive at Jocelyn Strip Club, the opening. It's lit, it's a vibe, a lot of pretty girls dancing. It looks like a pretty decent amount of people, actually, for, I guess, a grand opening. So Jocelyn meets with the girls. She actually just meets, in this scene, she actually just meets with the girls that came to the studio with her. So that would be Kanaya, Sky, and Erica. And Jocelyn kind of puts them on the spot with this. And she basically says, if y'all want to sign to the cabaret tour, now is your chance. So Jocelyn has 3 contracts on a table. One for Kanaya, one for Erica, and Sky. And she's basically like, if y'all want to sign to the cabaret tour, now's your chance. So Sky doesn't waste no time, child. She ran and she signed that contract right away. And they were like, all right, girl, welcome to the team. You're officially, you Jocelyn's artist now. Kanaya didn't do it because she want to have her own management, rightfully so. Okay. And Erica didn't do it because Erica was basically like, look, I'm tipsy off that Don Julio, and I don't sign nothing that I ain't read yet. Okay, so I'm not saying I will or won't, but I just need to read that contract thoroughly before I can sign it and, officially become part of your label, tour, whatever. And I think, yeah, that's totally smart, because girl, I'm with you. I don't sign nothing that I haven't read yet. I made that mistake in the past, and it bit me in the ass. Okay? So no pun intended. So yeah, I'm with you on that. And yeah, Kanaya too, I wouldn't want Jocelyn to be my manager, especially considering how a lot of people have issues with getting, paid by Jocelyn. So if someone has issues paying their current employees and stuff like that, that's not really somebody you want to work for, because you might end up in a situation where you're working and you're not getting paid and you can't pay your bills and stuff like that. So I think they both made really smart decisions. Sky is young. She felt like she had nothing to lose. So she said, why not take the chance? The girl just trying to feed her family. So, I mean, hey. Like I said, I wouldn't sign a contract without reading it, but I guess if you have nothing to lose, you just hope that you're not signing a contract that you can't get out of. So young or not, I don't think you should sign a contract without reading it, but to each his own. So Jocelyn decides to announce who she is giving the 50K to. So this is the moment everybody's been waiting for. And she decides to give the 50K to let me just see. Let me see. Oh, yes, right here. Did I pass it? Yeah. She gives the 50K to Sky. I did not see this coming, child. I did not see it coming, but as soon as I heard her mention Sky, I right away what I thought was, okay, she's giving it to this girl because she just signed a contract to her tour. And when we listened to when I watched the show and I listened to Jocelyn explain the reason why she gave the 50K to Sky, it was for that same reason. Because Sky signed to her label, and I was thinking to myself, it's kind of not fair because you see the other girls don't do music. I feel like the girls should have been judged off of what they put into the cabaret, their time on the cabaret, what they did on the show, what they contributed to the show is what I want to say. I feel like they should have been judged based on that, their contribution to the show, rather than, just, yeah, you signed to my label, you signed to my tour, so yeah, I'm gonna give you the money. Because I'm gonna be honest, after those girls jumped Sky, we didn't hear much from Sky. We kind of, she just fell into the background. She became a ghost. I forgot Sky was on the show. I really did. So I feel like, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like I get it, but then I don't. I don't feel like, I get that she's your artist, and you wanna make sure you take care of your artist before anyone else. But I feel like she should have been judged. You should have given the 50K to the person who contributed the most on the show. The person who did their big one, child. Whoever did their big one on the show, whoever stood out, should have got the 50K. But honestly, I feel like there's a lot of people that stood out on this season. A lot of people did their big one, so maybe it was hard for Jocelyn, and maybe because even look, last season, I think she had was it 50K? Was it whatever the number it was? I think it was 50K, but she ended up splitting the money between 4 girls. She ended up splitting the money between 4 girls. If y'all remember, it was Hennessy, it was Neek, I think it was Andraya, and then because Oceans was being a sore loser, she gave her something too with her white privileged ass. Okay? She gave her something too. The whiny white privileged girl, she gave her something too. So I guess the decision was hard for Jocelyn, so she decided, okay, you know what, to make life easier, whoever signs the contract, I'm gonna give it to them. Now imagine if all the girls had signed their contract. Imagine if it was Erica, Kanaya, and Sky, and they all signed their contract. What would Jocelyn have done? Would she have done? Would she have done the same thing she did last season? Would she have split the 50K 3 ways? Because we know Jocelyn wasn't giving each of them girls a 50K. So how would you have done it had all the girls signed their contract? Like I said, me personally, I think Miss Kanaya should have been the first. She should have been the first. She should have been the one to get the 50K. If not her, then Lexi Gold. She has made a big improvement. First of all, she stayed the full season. She's an OG. You could say that she's kind of an OG, and she's always improving. She does her best. She does her big one. She participates. in all the activities, and she can dance. You know, um, Sky did her big one too. Oceans did her big one, but I mean, Oceans can't dance. I don't even know why. I feel like Oceans is just on the cabaret to because she's down for the drama. She can fight. Um, she's down to stir the pot. She never backed down from you know what I mean? Like she's good entertainment. She's good for the show itself because she'll bring the drama, she'll fight, she'll get in the paint. But as far as dancing, Oceans can't dance. She is one of the weakest. She's a terrible dancer. Terrible. She has two left feet. No rhythm. She looks a lot of times she looks awkward. She's good on the pole, but as in terms of choreography, she looks terrible sometimes. She looks out of place. So I mean, it is what it is. Sky got the 50K. Congrats to her. You know, Jocelyn said she's gonna make sure that she takes care of Sky as her new artist. So, you know, everybody was applauding and everything. However, Kevin Hart's sister, Blue Vex. Okay, she was Blue Vex. She acted like, you know, she was like, you know, supportive and everything at first, you know, clapping, but then after, child, the anger came out. Her true colors came out. Okay, she was like, fuck this. You know, I worked so hard. You know, I got in the paint. You know, I was getting jumped all season by bitches and this and that. And I'm like, girl, what are you talking about? Look how cheap her outfit looks. This shit look like some shit you get from Shein. Okay? Or Temu. This outfit looks so cheap. So cheap. You look like you need to be working in the strip club. So anyway, yeah, she was a sore loser, child. She was in her feelings. She was mad. You know, I worked hard. I've been getting jumped by bitches. Bitch, who did you get jumped by? You were starting shit. You had your bodyguards. You wasn't getting jumped. You was doing the jumping. You had Egypt jump into your fight with Chinks, and then when Egypt started fighting with Chinks, you want to jump in. So what are you saying? The only two people, not Egypt. I don't know why I keep mixing up these girls' names. The only two people you had to fight all season was Miss Natural and Chinks. And you spat on Chinks. That's the only reason why Chinks kept coming after your ass, because you spat on her. And spitting is one of the nastiest things you could do to someone. Chinks said it herself. She said, I'd rather get pow than get spit on. Disgusting. So anywho, but I mean, hey, can you expect much from someone who looks like that? Look, she looks so cheap. She looks so cheap. She was mad. She was telling the cameraman, yo, get that camera out of my face. I am not in the mood. She was mad. So anyway, I'm just like, child, I can't believe she really thought she was getting that 50K. When I first saw this, I was like, really, girl? Really? You really thought you was gonna get that 50K? She really thought she was gonna get, child. She really thought she was gonna get that 50K. No, boo-boo. No. Even Jocelyn was like, girl, you wasn't even on my list. You wasn't even on my list of who I was considering to give the 50K to, child. You didn't do your big one the way you thought you did. Okay, you didn't do your big one the way you thought you was clicked up. Okay. So anywho, so after after this, we start seeing a montage of her time on the cabaret, and like I said, she didn't really do her big one. I mean, she really didn't. So it is what it is. Egypt's supposed to be her sister, but Egypt, listen, Kevin Hart's sister, she left. She said what she had to say. She made her little scene. She cussed off the cameraman, cussed off production, whatever. Made a whole. She threw her little tantrum, and then she left. She said, "Fuck this, I'm leaving." In her cheap little $2 outfit, she left. Egypt's supposed to be her sister. Egypt is here chilling. She drinking. She living her best life in Joseline's Cabaret. Joseline's Cabaret strip club. Egypt was here living her best life, taking shots, cabaret wasted, getting cabaret wasted. And y'all supposed to be quote unquote sisters. Your sister didn't even run after you to check up on you. See if you're straight, see if you're good. That's your sis? Girl, your sis didn't even bother to check up on you. My girl was like, okay, you can walk home in your $2 outfit, looking like a $2 hoe, as Jocelyn likes to say. And I'm gonna stay here and live my best life with these girls, getting cabaret wasted. Sis my ass. So anywho, again, congrats to Sky for winning the money. You know, nobody likes a sore loser. Nobody. T Love. That's her name. I finally remembered her name, T Love, aka Kevin Hart's sister. So anywho, that was pretty much it for this episode, because now we're just seeing, like, you know, a montage of everybody's time on the cabaret, getting their final thoughts and whatnot. And that was pretty much it. I mean, honestly, I would have more expected Lexi Gold to be more of a sore loser than T Love, because I mean, poor girl didn't even get to go to the studio at least to record a verse for Jocelyn's song. So I would have expected Lexi Gold to sort of crash out, you know, over T Love. But you know, it is what it is. So yeah, this is it. You know, this is the final episode. Everybody giving their final thoughts. You know, some people said, you know, it was an emotional roller coaster, like I think Miss Kanaya said that. Yeah, it was for you, girl. Yeah, it definitely was. They put you through the ringer. You and Chinks, they put y'all through the ringer, okay? And you know, and then we had people saying, you know, like this crybaby, for example, you know, she was just so happy she got another opportunity to do the show, to be on the cabaret, work with Zeus, you know. So yeah, but you know, Danny's she's a freaking crybaby. So anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. The last 10 minutes of the show was basically that. So y'all let me know what you think of this episode. Wasn't really much going on. I mean, at least compared to the last episode, wasn't much going on, but it was the finale. I feel like the finale for last season was much crazier than this one. Like, it was a whole brawl, okay? But you know, it is what it is. It doesn't always have to be fighting, especially on a show like this. It's a dancing show. We saw enough fights anyway during the season, so it is what it is. You know, it don't always gotta be about fighting. You know, I do like the fact that she gave the girls, the artists that are on the show, a chance to perform and record and do a song. So I like that. That was nice to see. And I'm kind of glad that Andraya is not going to be taking over the cabaret. She needs to go back to school. I feel like she's not strong enough to run the cabaret. I feel like she gets I feel like for this season, We saw that Andrea does not handle stress very well. To be a leader, to be in charge of something, to be in charge of, you're going to have to be in charge of a group of girls. Okay? Different personalities and stuff. You have to be strong. And I don't feel like mentally Andrea is strong enough to run the cabaret. We've seen her like this season. She was the biggest crash out. She was like a kid on steroids or something. She was just wilding out. She was like going crazy. Like she needed to you have to know to you have to be able to keep your emotions together. Okay? And I feel like Andrea is emotionally not emotionally stable to take on a role like that as running a cabaret, being in charge of a bunch of girls, like I said before, different personalities. I don't see Andrea being able to do that and be successful. I can see someone like Lexi Gold taking over the cabaret, and she can fight. She seems very unbiased, and she seems like she can lead. She can dance. She's not afraid to speak up, and I feel like she is more of a leader. She carries herself more like a leader than a Danny or an Andrea, in my opinion. If not Lexi Gold, I would even go as far as to say Egypt. But not Andrea. I never, even like the last season and the season before, when Jocelyn was saying, she wanted Andrea to run the cabaret. I was like, I never saw, like, I can't see Andrea running the cabaret. So that's why when Jocelyn mentioned it, I thought, her, of all the girls, her. I don't know if it's because Andrea be kissing Jocelyn's ass, her and Danny. Jocelyn say jump, Andrea say how high. I don't know if it's because of that, but I mean, gotta be, because I don't see any other reason why you would want to let Andrea run the cabaret. I would even say Miss Natural. Miss Natural would be great to run the cabaret. I mean, too bad, it's a shame that Miss Natural left earlier on. Because if she was still on the show, I would have said, give her the 50K. I would have wanted her to get the 50K over anyone else. If Miss Natural was still on the show, she takes the cabaret so seriously. She's one of the best dancers, if not the best. She's very disciplined. She's very level-headed. She has her emotions in check. The girls respect her. I mean, in the first season of the cabaret, the first season that she was on, emotionally, she was all over the place. But she got her emotions in check as the seasons went on. But anywho, I mean, that's just my opinion. Y'all let me know in the comments below how you felt about this episode. If you feel like someone else should have gotten that 50K, let me know in the comments below. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Like and comment on the videos. It really helps the channel. It really does. This is still a new channel. I'm really trying to build it up. So, if y'all could just like and share the videos and subscribe to